Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Valentine with another review. If you saw my review of Daredevil, that was the last one, and now we're reviewing Mr. Miracle number 4. And to me, this is the first issue that really showed the potential of this run, that really showed the possibilities of this comic run, that they're doing a limited series of 12 issues. Now, Mr. Miracle is the most critically acclaimed comic in the last few years. It's received tons of praise from mainstream media, a lot of love from fans. The people that work on it are great, nice, friendly people, willing to engage in discussion. I even got a chance to speak to the artists on Twitter and suggested the idea if they ever do a live action Mr. Miracle. Like, I really feel like this could work as a Netflix series or as a limited Amazon or Hulu series. That Tom Welling would be great for Mr. Miracle because he kind of has like that idealized look, but also kind of sad and a little bitter. So I think he would be a great Mr. Miracle. Now this to me, if we're doing just a spoiler, a non-spoiler and spoiler review, this is definitely a recommend. I feel like this is the first time they really did something really interesting and really innovative and really pushed the boundaries that they've been setting up. And reading the first 2 issues, for me, if you've seen this channel, I was a little unimpressed with the first Mr. Miracle comics. I felt they were a little Alan Moore. They just felt like strange for strange to be strange. They felt a bit Grant Morrison at times, and I didn't really know where the writer and the artist were going. Where this issue, it really does a nice thing of like, in the issue 3, we have Mr. Miracle getting beaten up by one of the New Gods. And in this issue, he is put to trial for possibly being a sleeper agent of Darkseid and being unaware of it. And it's a very simple story in a lot of ways. If you can see, like, a lot of it's just a conversation with a group of people. And what works about this is there's this very black humor about the situation. They have... Let me try to find the panel. They do this great bit where they've set up a veggie plate for these people. So you have these like mythical god-level heroes in a house, all sitting in a place, discussing if Mr. Miracle is a sleeper agent. And it kind of really perfectly encompasses what it's like to have depression or PTSD issues. The sense of kind of like self-hatred and not feeling in possession of yourself, and that kind of disassociative state where you don't know if you're coming or going. And I felt like they did a really good job of setting up this kind of like trial situation where it's a bunch of true and false statements. And, at the end, Mr. Miracle kind of basically, all these pieces from the previous 3 issues kind of really come into focus. Where before you didn't know if he was possessed or altered reality or falling in and out of time, or if he was imagining things or schizophrenic. It really, like, you kind of understand he's a person who has depression, who's dealt with all these horrible things and hasn't processed them, and because of this he's gonna get excommunicated from the New Gods and executed. And it's really nice. And also he does a story of saying why his name is Scott Free when he doesn't know his true name or his true identity. And it's a good story. It's interesting. It has this very black humor. It reminds me a bit of like a classic Spider-Man story in a way. Not that there's cracking jokes, but that you have this setting where you have these fantastical characters in a real world type setting, in a real place, like an apartment, having a discussion, having a debate about whether one of them is a sleeper agent or if one of them is possessed by Darkseid. And it takes this very fantastical idea and it approaches it in a way that could be done in a play or be done as a performance, and it would work because the emotion is captured in that sense of like, at the end when he's breaking down and he's like admitting that he's depressed and that he doesn't care about any of this stuff, and that the suicide attempt was a genuine suicide attempt in the first issue and not just his own little throwaway explanation that he was trying to show he could cheat death. It's very nice. It feels like, okay, all these ideas that felt out of focus now start putting themselves together and are nice and tight, and you understand them. I wish some of this stuff had happened earlier. Like, I wish some of these ideas would have been a little more clear in issue 1, 2, and 3. I don't know how you do that, but this is a really good issue. And the thing is, you kind of have to read the other issues to understand this one. So it's definitely one of those things where the first 3, you feel like you're kind of stumbling around, and then you finally turn in issue 4, you turn on the light switch and you really get a full view of this person who's a fantastical creature, but at the same time is just a man struggling. And that's always been the great thing about comics or about, you know, superhero narratives, is you can do these really fantastic settings and talk about real issues of like depression and sadness, PTSD, you know, bigotry, feminism. Like, you can talk about these really complicated problems and these really complicated viewpoints with using these fantastical characters as an entry point to make people comfortable to discuss these things and explore them. So I would say this is definitely really good. It's to me, I know a lot of people love Mr. Miracle, and I didn't have that enamored feeling with it, but this is the first time I'm going, wow, they really did something innovative. It really feels like something different and interesting, you know, it feels like they're really taking the shape and doing something nice with it. Now, the next issue is supposed to be that Mr. Miracle will be executed, so it might be a more traditional fighty comic, or they might, you know, go in a totally different direction. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm hoping that they'll take this and run with it and keep going, like, weirder ideas, like settings being whatever they are, but pushing this kind of like idea of things in a way, but still keep capturing the humanity. So I'm definitely really interested in this. I would say for this year, this will definitely be in my top 3. Right now, it's White Knight, the Daredevil, and then this. So definitely, if you're looking for a comic, and also I feel like this is going to be a comic that will appeal to people that aren't traditional comic readers, because the artwork is very challenging and the ideas are kind of strange and different. And, you know, unlike a lot of modern comics, it doesn't really hold your hand. Like, a lot of the characters are characters that I'm not really aware of, except for Granny Goodness, who dies in one of the issues. But it's definitely something worth checking out and worth seeing where they take it. So I'll be doing some more reviews like this throughout the month. And if you like it, just comment, subscribe. I'd love to interact with you guys and hear what you think. Take care. Peace.